the baseball hour. No Maz tonight. It is the Friday Roundtable. No Stu tonight as well. Kevin Majori running the show. It's Matt McCarthy and Tyler Milliken, who got to host the baseball hour for a couple days earlier this week while I was gallivanting up north. How you doing, Tyler?
I'm okay.
How'd it go?
Feel like you. I feel like Matt McCarthy. I'm pinch hitting constantly and trying to live up to the hype. I think we had some bumps and bruises. You just heard them at the end of Felger and Maz, but it was a good learning experience. And hey, listen, I'm going to say some stupid stuff. That's who Tyler Milliken is, so I'm happy people can laugh at it.
Majori, were you here for the Milliken experience on Tuesday and Wednesday?
Yes, I was.
How would you analyze it? What would be the analysis on that?
I would say outside of the small bumps and bruises, overall a very good product.
Spot on. I heard him as I got back into town on Wednesday night. Sounded excellent. I said, you know what? Can't wait to talk with him on Friday.
You know what I've noticed? I think with you, Matt, I feel safe. I feel cared for. I feel like you're going to take care of me if something goes wrong.
I am a provider, yes.
You are. You're a lover. And that's why when I started the show on Tuesday, I said the beautiful Matt McCarthy, because we have that kind of relationship.
I am stunning, yes.
When I was with Jared, I think Jared makes me a little nervous. I'm not saying you're the ugly girl, Matt McCarthy, but I'm comfortable with you. We've been in a relationship for a long time.
No, thanks. I appreciate it.
Jared's kind of hot, and he intimidates me a little bit, and I think that's what happened there.
Well, I've never intimidated anybody with my hotness. There's a reason I do radio and not television, so thank you for, once again, supporting me and for giving me another one of your backhanded compliments.
You're girl next door hot. Jared's kind of like a supermodel. You know what I mean?
Tyler Milliken once said to me, he said, you know what, McCarthy, you've got a face for bald. And I said...
That's a compliment.
Is it? Is it really a compliment?
The people watching right now, I know you can see it. I'm thinning in the front. It's getting worse by the day. I know. I will look ugly bald. Matt McCarthy, he will look gorgeous bald. He has the head for it. Me, I'm a little deformed.
What about me?
Kevin, you're in trouble. I'm sorry. No, seriously, Kevin actually has a head for bald as well. I'm very jealous of all you guys.
And on that note, how about your baseball team?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are looking to hit the panic button a little, and I think it's just because we haven't got to this point in the year in a long time where you had the playoff odds you do right now, where you're sitting in the second wild card, and, you know, yes, the Mariners are a game ahead of you, but there's really no one threatening you in a significant way. The Guardians are the bubble team. They're 2 games behind you. The Rangers, who... Talk about a pathetic baseball team, man.
Oh, yeah.
They did what they had to do at the deadline, and for what they've done really for a year and a half, really close to 2 years now, is just not live up to the talent that's on that roster. But I think what disappointed me so much about the Astros and the Padres series was it felt like you could have won those series. You were right on the line. Saturday against the Padres, maybe if Alex Cora gets up and takes Lucas Giolito out of the game, instead of letting him face Ryan O'Hearn and Ramon Laureano, if you go to the Garrett Crochet start, I'm not going to kill Crochet for looking human, even though I think really what went wrong for him was all his overthinking because the Astros are so good against lefties. Jordan Hicks comes into that game and is just an absolute arsonist. Your offense battled back. You would have won that game if he doesn't give up the 2-run home run. Those are the things that kind of really stuck with me and bothered me. And that Jordan Hicks article that came out about him trying to take accountability, pathetic read. I'm sorry. Saying that, well, you know, I don't feel comfortable telling the catcher no since I've gotten to the new team. And, well, I like to throw a harder slider, and the Red Sox have been telling me to throw the sweeper, which was what he gave up the 2-run homer on. Please spare me on the Jordan Hicks experience. But I still think this Red Sox team is talented enough in a pathetic American League to get in. And, hey, anything's possible to make some noise. I do think you look at the Astros now. Hunter Brown's carved you up twice.
Yep. Fortunately,
against Framber Valdez, you handled him pretty well. But that kind of 1-2, I don't think you have that in the rotation. That makes me nervous. I don't think you have what the Mariners have at the top. But otherwise, why not? You get in and anything can happen. And I think that's the outlook right now.
I think you summed it up pretty well. There's no reason to panic based on what you saw on this road trip. Yeah, they went 2-4 against 2 playoff teams. They were in most of the games. Like, I already know, Milliken, that they're not a good team on the road. It's just the way it is.
Why?
So that's the question. Why are they not good on the road? And the easiest thing to point to is, does their system, their system work better at home than it does on the road? I don't know. Like, we keep having these incidents. There have now been 7 incidents. We listed them on Felger and Maz.
I'm happy for you. You've been vindicated.
Yeah, I've been on this all year ever since the Tyler Anderson thing happened, which really was the first big time. I don't want to say cheating incident because I think a lot of what's going on is probably within the rules. Maybe all of what's going on is within the rules. I don't know, but I know there's something going on. So I've been paying attention to this for the last 2 months. Tyler Anderson against the Angels tries to fight Jose Flores, the first base coach, because of something Flores is doing.
Which I think now we have some of the telling of why that happened, but keep going. McCarthy.
Why do we have the telling as to why that happened?
Tarek Skubal recently coming out, and he mentioned the Red Sox and the Guardians specifically as their first base and third base coach do not stay in the box. And I'll say it seems like a pretty loose rule overall. I remember in the Brian Butterfield days, like never was in the box, kind of known for moving around and doing different things. But for him to highlight, yeah, they're kind of standing outside the box and maybe seeing things they're not supposed to see. When Tyler Anderson goes after Jose Flores the way he did, that makes me think a little bit.
Can we hear what Tarek Skubal had to say about the Red Sox first base coaches and what's going on with all of this?
I'm very much on it as far as not tipping my pitches, in my bullpen work. There's one of our video guys watches every single throw I make in a bullpen, watches every throw I make in the game, and, we're very back and forth on tipping stuff or, making sure I'm not tipping pitches. So I'm very much... It's part of the game. It's part of the baseball game. If you don't want to do it, don't tip your pitches. I think that's pretty simple. And that is, I think that's a competitive advantage. You have guys at second base that can relay signs and, get location or get which pitch is coming. I think I think it's all fair game. The one I have a problem with is the first base coach and the third base coach that aren't in their box that they have. I don't know why they have a box if they can't just be in it, because sometimes they go way up the line and way up the other line. To see things that you shouldn't be able to see when you're playing the game of baseball. So that's the one I have a problem with. And there's teams that do it. Boston's coach. They've had me before in Boston. Cleveland has had me before. Sandy Alomar at first base. But I'm very aware of what's going on and when that kind of stuff starts to happen. And I think as a team we're pretty aware of it.
So Tarek Skubal is the latest player or manager to call out the Red Sox for something they have going on. Terry Francona said that Cora is one of the best at that. Chris Bassett, after the Red Sox lit him up in June or July, said he respects Alex Cora after the Sox put up 14, 15 runs on them that night. Hector Neris, who had been with the Angels, who had a dust-up with the Red Sox, tried to fight the third base coach, Kyle Hudson. So, these things keep on happening. When you hear those Skubal remarks, what do you take away from that? What is going on with the base coaches? Because a lot of these incidents involve in some way the Red Sox base coaches. What's your sense on that?
Yeah, it just feels like maybe there's a system here of a relaying of signs. And there's been an interesting story I kind of go back to from 2023. And Aaron Judge at that time, there was a clip of him facing up against the Blue Jays where his eye peeked to the right before he ended up going deep. He claimed after the game that he was looking at the dugout, and the guys were freaking out. They were doing something funny. Chris Bassett immediately said after the game, that's not what he was doing. And there's AI system called Kintrix. We've talked about it on Zolak and Bertrand recently. We talked about it on the Baseball Hour a little. This kind of AI program that allows you to catch some of these tells and some of these different things. And I don't know, it did kind of stand out to me that Chris Bassett, the guy who spoke out against Aaron Judge a couple years ago, has kind of had some interesting comments towards the Red Sox. I think that explains a lot of the iPad stuff you saw in San Diego, which is not illegal. Those are Red Sox coaches doing their job. Good on them. The night you tweeted out the Romy Gonzalez home run.
Yep.
I sent it to you. Jesus Luzardo is a known tipper. You could see it on Twitter. There were these advanced pitching guys that are, in these labs, whatever, drive line, tread, whoever it is. You could see that there were different grips and things going on depending on what pitch he was throwing. It, to me, feels like the Red Sox have a really just streamlined kind of version of how to break these pitchers down right now and get to it. Is it illegal? I don't know. Is them doing certain things with the base coaches to help pick up on these things, maybe them bending the rules a little bit? Sure. I don't think they're cheating. It just, to me, sounds like they have a system right now that hasn't been patched by Major League Baseball.
Do you think the system is in some ways better at home than it is on the road? Do you think there's anything tied into that? Because, and I don't have the answer on this, Milliken. I don't. But their home record is so significantly better than their road record. Is that just a coincidence, or are they doing a little something extra at Fenway Park?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything extra going on at Fenway, and I think it's important to kind of mention.
Are you compromised in this?
Please. If I am, Step it up.
Is your opinion compromised?
You're going to have to do more. I'm telling you, please. Whatever the money is,
he can be bought. He can be bought for a very low price.
I'm very poor. But with the Red Sox, May 14th against Skubal, that was in Detroit. And yes, they roughed him up for 5 earned runs. But to me, the pitching has been the bigger thing that stands out on the road, where the ERA difference is through the roof. So I'm not really looking at the Red Sox bats and saying, you can't hit on the road. You're not able to get the job done there. I think that's more a young team, and I think a Red Sox team that is thriving off a lot of the energy at Fenway Park, and are for the first time in a long time built to succeed at Fenway Park. Something during the Chaim Bloom tenure, we complained a lot about the offense not being built for it.
They've been horrible at Fenway for a number of years now, and it's refreshing to see them actually winning a lot of baseball games at Fenway. The difference, though, statistically, is you can't ignore it. They're batting .263 as a team at home, .243 on the road. That's a 20-point difference. I mean, you would think those two things would be a little closer together. I understand that Fenway has different dimensions, but I don't know if this team is necessarily built to take advantage of those dimensions. Their OPS at home is .785. Their OPS on the road is .726. That's pretty significant. So do you think it's unfair for folks to start looking at that and saying, all right, we keep having these incidents. People keep accusing you of doing something nefarious. Is there something extra going on at Fenway Park?
Well, I think when you talk Fenway Park, too, they're second in park factor in baseball. So we're talking environments.
What is park factor?
Essentially takes in hitting environment and how much a place, whatever ballpark. So San Diego, for example, is 22nd. That's a place.
Notorious pitcher's ballpark.
Nick Pivetta goes there. Alex Cora says before a start, is Nick Pivetta really having a better year? Nah, not really. He's just pitching half of his games in San Diego, which suppresses homers. Fenway is known as essentially the second best offensive environment for a ballpark in the game. So I do look at those things and I kind of focus in on them. But in terms of something dramatically being different at Fenway, even the Romy Gonzalez situation we referenced, that was on the road. So I don't know. I'm not to the point yet where I feel like I have enough that they're doing something at Fenway specifically, but there's clearly a system or something they're doing right now with breaking these pitchers down, what the base coaches are doing that's ahead of the curve. And cool. All right, if you're ahead of the curve, props to you. That's what the Red Sox should be doing, especially when you have a front office that's supposed to be, smarter and more new age than a majority around the game.
Alex Cora has told you something is going on. He told WEEI in response to Tarek Skubal, quote, "You prepare, and that's the way it works in the big leagues. Everybody's working, and everybody's trying to get an edge." So the Red Sox will tell you right now, yeah, we're pulling some crap. We're doing some stuff. The only question is, does it eventually cross the line where it is illegal? And the vast majority of this stuff is legal in baseball. But they're doing it more than just about anybody else, I think. Or there's a perception around baseball that they're doing it more than everybody else because people are talking about it.
Yeah.
People are not afraid to accuse the Red Sox, to go after the Red Sox about this stuff. And I do think part of that has to do with Cora's reputation. He is a known cheater. He is. He was suspended from baseball for cheating, and people don't forget that. So if the Red Sox have a good day, if the Red Sox go off, they might say, I bet you he's doing something. He might not be doing something. But that attitude does exist, and that probably benefits the Red Sox.
Yeah, the Phillies are the only team privately to be discussing, and this was in that Sean McAdam piece from about a week ago, that thought there was something weird going on. But McAdam also talked to Major League scouts who are watching pitch by pitch. They go, we can't pick anything up. We're not seeing anything. And that, to me, does stand out a little because if you're watching pitch by pitch to see if something stands out or if something's weird, feels like you would have caught something by now. But this is a different era in the PitchCom era, and that's part of it.
In the McAdam piece, for folks who may have missed that, can you summarize that McAdam piece for us?
Yeah, it was, basically focused on, are the Red Sox cheating? Is there something along the lines there? And that's where they went, and they kind of went through some of the different incidents that happened, these different teams, whether it was Chris Bassett or Terry Francona. And Sean McAdam, as he dug through, essentially couldn't find anyone that had proof of cheating or was willing to come out on record and say they were cheating. Phillies players were disgruntled after and alleged some cheating, but none of them were willing to step beyond that to put it out there in a significant way.
There's something in that Gonzalez video, that the Gonzalez Grand Slam in Philadelphia. They're looking down at something. That's the one incident this year where I've truly said, there's something maybe.
Well, you have the
beyond
core reaction where it's just like the high five, we got him. It's like, all right, You got him, but are you saying you got him because you all saw the tell when you were looking at the tipping and you knew, all right, this is what you're looking for? We guessed right, and I believe it was 3-0 at the time, and you jump on that changeup? I don't know. Maybe it's that. I don't have enough there yet to say, like...
Nobody does.
It's hard. We're guessing. We're trying to piece these little clues together, but there's enough smoke at this point where you need to talk about it.
There's something going on, but we don't know what it is. But I've watched that video a number of times. They're looking down at something on that, and then before Cora signals change up to either the runner on second or the first base coach.
Do you think Cora would be more careful at this point in time? Because we saw 21, right, where they go to the ALCS, and there was no accusations. 2018, we talk about. You were in the video room. It was not to the level of what happened with the Astros, but there was something there. You got punished for that. We didn't get anything in 21 when you were on a playoff push. We haven't gotten anything when the team has sucked the last couple years and been mediocre. Where are you now? Is Cora, after all this apologizing, all this stuff, willing to toe that line again and risk everything?
I don't know. He might be. I don't know.
Is he that desperate? But you got an extension, right? So he got paid. Mm-hmm. Like, you've gotten the contract. Does that maybe make him more comfortable, or even put him in a place now where he's apologized so much, ridiculously, over the last couple of years? What a weird place to be in, and what a rough look for your legacy if you were to get caught in another thing at this point.
You said we haven't heard anything on this for years. Yeah, this is the first time that stuff like this has come up since Cora got suspended, and they're winning more baseball games. Now, if you want to draw that conclusion, that's fine. I don't want to go there just yet because I don't have enough proof, but I know there's something going on. Whether it's illegal or not, I can't speak to, but
I'm proud of them. I tip my cap to them. If you're bending the rules and you haven't been caught for something, keep bending them. That's what the best organizations in this sport do. Just don't get caught, because if you do, you will pay the price.
All right. Home road difference. Does that have anything to do with what we just talked about? 617-779-0985. I think a sneaky big series coming up against the Marlins. We'll dive into that. Plus, also, a lot of talk today about some roster moves and trying to improve this team from within the organization. We'll get into all of that. I see on the phone lines. We'll take care of you. It's McCarthy and Milliken in for Maz on the Baseball Hour.
The Baseball Hour with Tony Maz.
Grab your friends and make the most of each day with those who matter most, and enjoy a White Claw hard seltzer this week at Lincoln Tavern and Restaurant, 425 West Broadway in South Boston. White Claw. Grab life by the claw. Please.
baseball savant, Tony Maz, and the Baseball Hour on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Anytime we play like a late 90s, early 2000s pop punk song, it brings me right back, and I was about to engage Milliken on this.
Nirvana.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
No, I didn't get it.
No, you did not get it.
Was I close?
No.
All right. I'll keep showing up.
Should we give him more guesses, Milliken or Majori?
Yes.
I'm going to be honest. I don't think I have another band to give you. I'm not going to say something like Weezer. I know it's not Weezer.
You're never going to get it. If you guessed Nirvana, you're never going to get it. It's Jimmy World, The Sweetness.
No chance. Never heard of him.
What game was this in? What video game was this in?
Tony Hawk Pro Skater. No.
Negative.
I'm a bum. If it's not MVP Baseball 05 soundtrack, I got nothing for you.
NHL 03?
Definitely not.
Classic, right
One of the
there.
best.
This is the baseball hour. Are we contractually even allowed to say the words NHL, the letters NHL in sequence on this show? We do that?
I hope so, because I just did.
I call it puck. That's what the cool kids call it.
Really?
I don't know. I'm not one of them.
Dalton and Dedham. He's one of the cool kids. Dalton.
Hey guys, how we doing? We got the dream team here tonight, Milliken and McCarthy.
How about that? Legends.
So guys, I just wanted to touch on the Red Sox rotation. The Garrett Crochet thing last week was a little concerning. The velocity was up, but it just seems like after the first two innings, like his demeanor went down. But I think we have with the Steven Matz signing that we got, and we have Kyle Harrison down in AAA. I think this is what they were planning on, giving him some rest towards the postseason. There's a lot of big names that should be called up. So, Milliken, what do you think their plans are with Matz and Harrison? I really think he's going to get a couple big starts in there because they got to start giving these guys some rest. And I hope you boys have a good weekend. Take care.
Thanks, Dalton. Before we get into the potential call-ups, I think this is a huge weekend for the Red Sox starting rotation. This is a get-right weekend. Last week was not great in San Diego, right? And it certainly was not good in Houston for Crochet. I want to see how they bounce back. Giolito was not good. Tonight's a get-right night. Bayo was not totally himself or what he's been. Crochet certainly did not look like himself. You have your three best pitchers going in this series against a not very good baseball team. This should be a sweep. This should be the ultimate get-right series coming off a disappointing road trip. I think anything less than a sweep, given the pitchers you have going, would be disappointing, Milliken.
Yeah, especially game 2 and 3. Like, you got Brian Bayo versus Cal Quantrill, please. Cal Quantrill, his biggest accomplishment the last couple years is the fight he started with Reese McGuire in Colorado. And then Jansen Junk. I'm sorry, Junk. It's a very fitting last name. He's not scaring me against Garrett Crochet.
Is that the guy's actual name?
That's his actual last name.
Jansen Junk?
Yeah, listen.
For
nice
a pitcher,
story.
incredible.
Put together a solid year down in Miami, but you have your best pitcher on the mound. I don't expect Crochet to go out there and lay an egg as long as he's ready to dominate with his fastball first time through the order instead of trying to throw that sweeper very heavily multiple times through the order, which he admitted after the game. Not even having an idea of how you were going to, swap your approach or what you were going to do the second or third time through. It just felt like Crochet overthought a lot of that to me. And I'm someone who's talked about workload concerns with him all year long. I think tonight is the night I'm looking at more than anything. Because not only is Sandy Alcantara on the other side, a guy that we all got caught up in Joe Ryan and all that. They were talking about Sandy Alcantara that whole last day of the deadline, too. They were in on those talks.
He might be washed, dude. He's got a 6.5 ERA. They got to tee off on him tonight.
He should be someone you take advantage of. But you look at Lucas Giolito right now, and since the All-Star break, it's a 4.86 ERA, 6.46 FIP. It's hard to do that when you throw 8 innings of one-run ball over that stretch against the Astros as well. And there's been points and signs of regression essentially throughout this entire hot streak. And it was similar to Bayo. You look at June and July, they had these low 2 ERAs. Brian Bayo, all his advanced metrics kind of pointed closer to a 3.5 to a 4 ERA. That's what I think Brian Bayo is, a good number 3 starter. Lucas Giolito, He's in the 12th percentile for expected ERA, which operates with a lot of the things pitchers can control, like FIP, walks, hit by pitches, strikeouts, home runs, those things. But it takes in batted ball data and how hard teams are hitting you. Lucas Giolito has survived a lot of hard contact this year. His velocity has been down in back-to-back starts, 0.7 in his last start. And you start to think about it. He lasts through 123 innings in 2023, didn't pitch at all in 2024. What is that going to look like in August and September when he's 20 innings away from that now?
It's a good point.
And you're pitching high leverage spots. If there were signs that there was regression coming and now we're worrying about workload concerns, if he can't get on the horse today, very quickly you have a very, scary trend happening for him, and I think that's something I'm watching for.
So I don't think we've talked enough about that. We've talked about his effectiveness, but I don't know if we focus so much of the workload concern on Garrett Crochet, rightfully so. But Giolito is a guy who has not pitched that much in the last few years. It's been a while. So is he going to break down? Which brings us back to the trading deadline. This is where Milliken, somewhere along the way, they are going to get burned by the fact that they didn't add something more than Dustin May. And I know he had a good start this past week, but I don't believe in Dustin May. Nobody really believes in Dustin May. You shouldn't believe in Dustin May at this point in his career. At what point is this going to catch up with them? Will it happen in the regular season? Will it cost them a playoff berth, or are we going to see this more show up in October? Because I have to imagine failing to get Joe Ryan or somebody impactful at the deadline in the starting rotation will hurt them eventually.
That disappointment you saw in Craig Breslow's face didn't come from nowhere. They knew some of the things they were working up against and that were on the horizon for them. And credit to them, like you said, Dustin May pitched his ass off. But you saw in that little moment how quickly a 5-game losing streak could fall on top of your head. If Giolito and Bayo can't carry their load and do what they did, if Crochet isn't himself, all of a sudden you had Dustin May and Walker Buehler going back-to-back, and it was like, man, this feels like it could be a slide. Credit to Dustin May for going out there and pitching. But since you came up short at the deadline, and to Craig Breslow's credit, May's had one bad start, one good start. You can say the same about Charlie Morton. You could say the same about Merrill Kelly, like these other arms we talked about a ton here. But that puts the focus on the guys down at AAA. And you already see now how they're preparing guys, whether it was the promotion of Peyton Tolley to AAA and some of the murmurs you're hearing about a relief role down the stretch. David Sandlin immediately going into a bullpen role after one start. Even before that Walker Buehler start in San Diego, Chris Cotillo put out a very ominous tweet. And that did not come from nowhere. It didn't. To drop something along the lines of, hey, if Walker Buehler doesn't really look like he needs to look tonight, Kyle Harrison or Cooper Criswell could be on the phone pretty quickly. That tells you where the organization is at with him. And I've had enough of Buehler in other ways where, I get up against NL playoff teams. Good for you, man. Go get up against another ball club. Like, I'm not going to sit here and, clap my hands for you because you say something flips on, a switch flips for
when
you.
You're in San Diego. Like, great, whoop-de-doo.
And I thought, you go to that Astros start, the first inning, annoying. The sixth inning, annoying. To retire 15 of 16 and his stuff was playing, you see some of the positives there. But for Walker Buehler at this point in time, yes, it's a 3.60 ERA over his last 7 starts. The FIP's above 5. If you're watching it, you know that he's on the verge of going over at any moment.
There's no faith, there's no belief in it. And I say that as somebody who liked the Buehler signing and probably has given him more leash than most. So what do you do at this point? You look down to AAA. Is Kyle Harrison going to pitch for this team sooner rather than later? It's been better for him, from my understanding there as of late. Like, are they going to look to bring up Christian Campbell to play first base? Like, it feels to me like the playoff roster is not exactly set for this team right now, and they are going to look for some impact players to come up, or you hope to get some level of impact from some guys in Worcester right now. It feels like we're trending in that direction.
Yeah, you start with Kyle Harrison, and to his credit, he strung together 3 solid starts. It's a 1.20 ERA, 2.84 FIP over that stretch, 5 innings in each one. But you look deeper into the numbers, he's striking out 12 per 9 over that stretch. He's walking 5 per 9. He walked 4 in his last start and hit a guy. So you walk 4, you hit 1. That's 5 guys you put on without a hit, and he gave up 1 hit in the outing as a whole. But these are the things we're talking about with Walker Buehler, aren't they? Like putting guys on base when you don't need to. The 4-pitch walk he had to Victor Carantini before that 6-inning home run. Like non-competitive pitching. And we hear about Kyle Harrison down there. While there's been strides in the fastballs playing, the secondaries still aren't wowing anyone. The cutter has been a nice addition, but most people feel like the outlook for him hasn't changed drastically.
So you don't really believe in him right now?
I don't think he's a marginal upgrade over Walker Buehler and Dustin May. I think he falls into the same thing where you may get one good start, one bad start. There's some intriguing stuff there where you can see he can shove for 2-3 innings at a time. But is he going to be able to do it every single outing? And I've yet to see Kyle Harrison at least show that he can do that, or that you can immediately point to it and be like, yeah, he's going to be an upgrade over Buehler today or May today. Because if that was the case, the Red Sox would be aggressive here. If they thought Harrison was going to step into the rotation tomorrow and shove, that would only make them feel better about the Rafael Devers trade. It's a young corner piece, and they've shown they don't care to put weight on these young guys' shoulders. If you were confident in Kyle Harrison, he would have already been up. Walker Buehler has shown you enough scary things, or your own deadline disappointment has shown you enough that if you were going to overextend for him and put him in that spot, feels like you would have done that. I still feel like if Buehler struggles for a couple starts or whatever it may be, he's probably the first name you call. I'd probably call Cooper Criswell first, but I think they're trying to balance development and, Harrison's long-term ceiling at the same time.
So you know what I take away from this is pick a name out of the hat. It's all going to be the same. Whether it's Kyle Harrison, whether it's Walker Buehler, whether it's Dustin May, whether it's Cooper Criswell. So what it comes down to, Milliken, is if the Red Sox are going to be successful, it has to come from their top three pitchers. Crochet has to carry them. Giolito needs to turn it around a little bit, and Bayo needs to continue to take strides, some of the strides we've seen this year. If you're counting on there being an answer from somewhere else in the organization, or somebody, figuring it out, or Buehler turning it around, or Dustin May being the Dustin May you saw this past week, I think that's fool's gold.
May, even if you're the biggest Dustin May believer in the world, and maybe they find something, they balance his arsenal a lot, went back to throwing the sweeper heavily after the Red Sox called his cutter a weapon pitch, that he was going to, he threw that pitch more than any other pitch in his first start after it being his least used pitch all season. Now it goes back to being his least used pitch. But Dustin May hasn't thrown over 100 innings since 2019. Mm-hmm. I was a sophomore or a junior in college at that point in time. Like, that is a very long time for a guy who's had serious injuries since then, and you're hoping maybe he steps up and carries you in October. That's a lot.
What about the big prospect names, Campbell and Tolley?
Yeah, Christian Campbell, the surface numbers right now have gotten a lot better at AAA, 867 OPS since he got sent down. Since July 19th, that was when that 15-game hitting streak really got going. He hit 370, 463, 593, 1036 since that date. July 19th, 5 homers, 3 doubles. And this is nerdy, and we had Ian Cundall on the show earlier in the week talking about it. You look underneath the hood, it feels like it's a lot of singles blooping in, a lot of luck kind of factoring in.
So he's not hitting the ball hard.
No, 4th percentile average exit velo over that stretch.
They hate that.
16th percentile in hard hit percentage.
Cora was asked a little bit about this today. He was dismissive of it. And he said he's been okay at first base. So I do not count on Christian Campbell being a part of their plans this year, which, by the way, I think makes sense. They screwed that kid. They rushed him to the big leagues. He never should have been here in the first place. You want to bring him back, and rosters expand to 28 in September, right?
Yep, one pitcher, one player.
Okay, I'd bring up Tolley, and I'd bring up Campbell at that point. But it's because Campbell's not going to play in AAA. The season's over. The second the season is over in Worcester, bring him up here, give him a taste of it again, let him be around here. But he needs to play. He needs to get at bats. He needs to get low pressure at bats at this point. He should be down there. What about Peyton Tolley, though?
So Peyton Tolley had his first start over the weekend, and the first inning was rough. He should have been out of it without giving up any earned runs in the first place. Mikey Romero bobbled a double play ball. But after that, 4 scoreless innings, showed the fastball that everyone's kind of really gotten excited about with 10 whiffs. Threw his hardest pitch of the day on that last strikeout, hitting 97. I think Peyton Tolley could play in that Garrett Crochet, David Price, Chris Sale kind of role where you come up and they accelerate you just for the bullpen. In stretch run, October, whatever it may be. Cora today highlighted David Price in 2008 on his own. So I think that's on the table, and I think David Sandlin from the right side is on the table. Now, the return of Justin Slayton, who seems like he's probably a week or two away from really getting back into the mix of, the Red Sox roster. But David Sandlin from the right side, who can get up to 100 with a good breaking ball. The fact that they moved him to the bullpen after just one start very quickly, it told me those are the two guys they're kind of leaning on. But even Ian Cundall, he called Tolley's chances of being on the big league team this year less than 20%.
All right, there you have it, 617-779-0985. I don't hate the idea of bringing him up as a bullpen arm. I don't. I'd like to see them consider that for sure. Quick update. When we come back, I know you talked about this a little bit on the midday show, the Alumni Home Run Derby. I want your roster. I heard some of the names you were throwing out, Milliken. I'm not going to lie. I was disappointed in you.
I think age factors into this convo a little.
No. So I'm here to, what did Mark Dondero say yesterday? Here to educate?
Yes.
Yes, he was big time. He felt that Taylor Swift was not educated. I am here, Milliken, to educate and to mansplain to you who should be on the Red Sox alumni home run roster. But I know you're open-minded and you'll listen and you'll learn.
Teach me your ways, Mr. McCarthy.
I will. Quick update, then right back with you. you even alive when that happened, Milliken? I will never forget. It was a day game. I came home from school and I watched that in my grandparents' den. Mo Vaughn was my hero. It was 1998. Were you alive when Mo hit that ball out?
No, not on opening day. I was born the next month, May 11th. Tyler Milliken showed up on the scene. I can't help that. You're mad at me?
No, I'm mad at myself that I'm that old. That really
it's tough. I will say the Mo Vaughn memory in my head, just because I didn't really ever experience him in a Red Sox uniform, was his homer with the Mets when they took out the scoreboard.
Oh my God.
I've seen that a million times.
My buddy was at that game.
Wow.
Mets fan. And he's talked about, when we first met, we're talking about baseball. I'm like, Mo Vaughn's my favorite player of all time. He's like, dude, have you ever seen the video of Mo Vaughn? I'm like, have I ever seen the video?
I think
I pleasured myself to that video.
It was either MLB Slugfest, one of those old MLB PS2 games. It was in the intro.
He was on the cover. Oh, yeah, but he was on the cover of MLB 99 or 2000 PlayStation when he went to the Angels, which broke my heart. Really is my villain origin story. It's why I'm such a prick. It's McCarthy and Milliken in for Maz tonight on the Baseball Hour. This idea is awesome. This alumni home run derby that the Milwaukee Brewers did that the Red Sox are now looking to replicate. And you talked a little bit about who you would want to be in this alumni home run derby that I would hope the Red Sox would do for charity and all that. But my first thought was, it's Manny and Ortiz, and then there is a drop-off there. The number 3 power hitter, because we have to talk about it, really, in the last 30 to 35 years, because if you're going to push beyond that, how many guys in their 70s are going to go out there and try and hit home runs?
You can't. I saw a lot of people tweeting at me like, Jim Rice would be awesome. Jim Rice, legend. At this point in time, is he going to be able to go out there and hit it out of a major league ballpark? I don't know.
So here's what they need to do. Juice the balls, give these guys aluminum bats.
The aluminum bats thing, that should be one of the major keys. You'd be stupid not to do that.
Yeah.
Let them smoke the ball to levels that are... I don't think it'd be dangerous. I don't think you're taking any lives. But maybe if you feel like it could happen, that's pretty cool too.
Aluminum bats. That's the absolute key in all of this, because you want a guy to go out there and listen. He's not going to be in playing shape. He's going to be old. Mo and Manny are in their 50s. Ortiz is approaching his 50s, I would guess. You don't want those guys to embarrass themselves. So the way to do it, juice the balls, give them aluminum bats, and let them hit tanks. How awesome would that be? We got to come up with our rosters, but most importantly, you like giveaways?
I love them.
I got a giveaway for you.
Tell me more.
We're giving away a truck, or at least a shot to win a truck. This is a part of the McGovern Automotive Group and 98.5 The Sports Hub Ford F-150 giveaway. So here's the deal. You've already participated in all this. You got to go online. You got to go on Instagram. You got to do this. If this is your Instagram username, you have 985 seconds. That is 16 minutes and 25 seconds to call us back at 617-931-0985 to qualify to win a 2025 F-150 from McGovern Automotive Group and 98.5 The Sports Hub. If this is your Instagram username, you got to call in. Again, 617-931-0985. You have 16 minutes and 25 seconds. That is 985 seconds. The Instagram username is rmcnall34. RMCNAL 34. We're going to give a chance for an Irish guy to go win this. I love that.
I believe in you.
Fantastic. So again, you've got 985 seconds. What's your roster? Your home run derby roster, alumni roster.
So you get
the fact
10
that you
spots
did
here.
Not mention. You have 10 spots?
10 spots. 5 and 5. There's a team situation going on.
The fact that you did not mention Mo Vaughn pretty much right away in this is criminal. After Ramirez and Ortiz, it's Mo Vaughn. He's the number 3 hitter on this list.
I made it a 55 and under list.
Okay.
That's the way I approached it. So maybe
Mo's
I was a little
be
unfair.
55.
He's 57, I think.
Did you see Mo when he threw out the first pitch a few years ago?
I did.
He looks good big. Not like Mo Vaughn with the Mets big. He looks good big. Like big old Mo Vaughn. Give him an aluminum bat and let him hit tanks.
I'm not hating on the man. If he saw me in the streets, he'd beat the brakes off me. I'm not trying to make him mad. I'm not trying to do anything like that. But this was my list. David Ortiz, Manny, those are the easy ones. Don't even think. Hanley Ramirez, someone who hits absolute tanks, has a history with the Red Sox. Obviously, the second stint when he was part of the Josh Beckett trade in that. But a majestic home run hitter. I think people would be happy to see him back. Was loved by the fans. Mike Napoli would be my next one. You're a 2013 World Series hero.
That works.
He's on the Reds coaching staff, so maybe it's a little complicated. I don't know. Next one, Steve Pearce. 2018 World Series hero?
I don't know. Something doesn't feel right about that.
3-homer game at Fenway Park against the Yankees.
I know. Okay, yeah, you know what? You can do worse.
I just think in terms of the pop you're going to get from the crowd, Steve Pearce is going to get pop.
For a World Series MVP, I don't know if Steve Pearce brings much. I think Mike Lowell brings more pop than Steve Pearce.
So he was the one leaving off the list that I was upset with myself the most. I thought he was a little bit older than he actually was, but he's not. I think he's like 53, 52, same age as Manny. That's a very fair one. And he works out with teams all the time. That's the other thing. So you know he's in shape.
Yep.
My next one, JD Martinez, who I do think is almost cheating, but the Brewers had Keon Broxton, who's 35 years old and retired. If JD at 37 can't get in there and do it, I think that's a little bit unfair. Next one, I'm going to go Will Middlebrooks, 2013 World Series.
I mean, I love you, Will. Love you, seriously, but
that 2012 season, man. Before Yadano Ventura hurt him, it was special.
Compromised.
Good things were cooking.
Compromised. Nope. You and Middlebrooks are buddies.
Nope.
Compromised.
I won't acknowledge any of that. Let me see Will Middlebrooks hit some tanks. I want to see that grand slam he hit against Oakland.
I'd rather see you hit tanks out there. Let's get you in this thing.
Next up, and I know this turns some people off, Johnny Gomes. He's been doing a lot of the Home Run Derby X stuff, been involved in MLB in that way. Feels like another guy you bring in, gets the pop from the crowd, and actually has a chance maybe to hit some homers. After that, Kevin Youkilis. Weird stance. We get him back. Still one of the better hitters on the Red Sox over the last 20 years or so. Has been affiliated with the team. Obviously not with the broadcast this year, but I think he fits into that mix. And then my last one would be Mitch Moreland. Meat and potatoes, bombs out of the ballpark. I'm always going to think about the 2018 World Series when he sent it halfway up the right field bleachers. I have no clue if Pedroia could do it, so I kept him off with his knee at this time. I think Brock Holt feels like a fan service one.
Now we're talking about Brock
Those
Holt.
guys aren't. They didn't make my list.
What fans are we servicing?
People love Brock Holt.
Oh God,
he's not on my list. He's on the honorable mention side of the list. Okay.
If you're being serviced as a fan by Brock Holt, give me a break.
I'm trying to be realistic with some of these names. What, you're gonna give me Nomar? Like Nomar's gonna come back here for the home run derby? Go ahead, Matt.
Brock Holt. Yeah, the list.
2015 All-Star Brock Holt.
The list jumped the shark when you mentioned Brock Holt.
Honorable mention.
Very, very serious. Very simply, Manny, Ortiz, Mo Vaughn. Those are the three big ones right there. If you look at the last 10 years, Milliken, of the last 30 to 35 years, home run hitters, Ortiz is number 1 on the list. Manny's number 2. This is home runs in a Red Sox uniform. Mo Vaughn's number 3. He's the third best power hitter of the last 35 years.
If he's up for it, he should be on that list.
He can do it. Mo can do it. You want to know? So Rafael Devers is number 4 on the list. Home runs in the last 30 years. That ain't happening. Jason Varitek is number 5. Varitek hit 193 home runs. Send Varitek out there.
He's been catching recently.
Trot Nixon. Put Trot Nixon on the list.
All right.
He had 133 home runs in a Red Sox uniform. Youkilis isn't a bad one. Martinez isn't a bad one. Martinez is a really good one. He's a top 5 home run hitter of the last 35 years for the Red Sox.
I feel like you can't include like the Adrian Beltres or the Victor Martinezes of the world. That feels like asking a lot at this point in time, right?
Here's one I'm going to give you. John Valentin.
Okay.
Bring me Johnny Valentin back. Nomar's not going to do it. Valentin will do it.
It doesn't move 25 or I'm old now, 27-year-old Tyler Milliken, excuse me. But I bet for your age range, people would get off on that.
That's some real fan service right there. Give me Mo and give me John Valentin, and that's what I want. I love the idea and hope it happens. Milliken, always fun.
You're a blast. Made me feel safe and comfortable.
That's what I aim to do. Kevin Majori, appreciate all the hard work. Ryan Garvin, much appreciated as well. We have Joe Murray coming up next. Is that right? Is it a Joe show, full Joe show tonight?
I believe so.
Thumbs up on the Joe show. We'll talk to you Monday on the Baseball Hour. See ya.
This is the Baseball Hour on the Sports Hub. McGovern Auto Group and 98.5 The Sports Hub are giving away a brand new